Stress. There's a great question coming here, and Jenna, you probably get this question as well quite often, but stress is still something that a large number of people would potentially hide from their manager or colleagues, friends, family, because they're maybe worried about the knock-on implications. If they say that they're overwhelmed, stress, their employer may interpret that and thinking that, well, they're obviously not coping. So that may then hinder their potential for progression or other areas. What advice would you give to encourage teams and the organization as a whole to understand that?
Yeah, it still happens a lot. It's such a shame. And I just encourage that person to reach out if they've got a member of the union or a worker rep or, a trusted colleague. Because I imagine that if somebody is in that situation and they feel that the workload's overwhelmed, they won't be the only person. And I think sometimes we all hide stuff, don't we, in work. We don't sort of share that, oh, well, I've got this incredibly stupid deadline and I don't know how I'm going to do it. And actually, when you start talking to your colleagues, you find out that everyone is feeling the same thing. So I think it's about finding someone who's trusted. If you feel confident enough, because obviously if you're sort of that sort of really sort of overwhelmed by everything, sometimes it's hard to sort of reach out to someone, but find someone that you can trust, have that conversation with, and then it'll be a case of just making sure that that person, or you have some mechanism if you have got business, that someone can then sort of take the burden and say, okay, we seem to be getting a pattern. Now, actually, Zoe can help me out on this one. What we've done actually in HSE is quite an interesting, we have this drip drip. So when we recognize over a period of time that something in the way our organization is managing itself or some of our processes, we're allowed to submit an anonymous sort of feedback. And what it enables the people at the top to do is to recognize if there's patterns of behavior or elements in how things are done, they're actually causing a problem. Now, a big bugbear, I don't think anyone will mind, Zoe won't mind me saying, because we share the same thing, IT is a big bugbear for us. So, if the IT is not working or we're finding it's causing this backlog, then we can just pop one of these drip sort of feedback forms, and then it just gives that weight. And I think that's worked really well. I don't know, Zoe, what your thoughts on that is.
I think it gives a good opportunity to have things like that in place that aren't overly formalized. It's a very quick and effective method for people to be able to just do it on their phones and just say, this has really bothered me, but I don't need to spend a really long amount of time, because I think that some of the issue is around if people consider something that's caused them stress, if it's something that's wound them up at work, but they see it as a small problem, and you've got quite lengthy formalized systems in place, people might not necessarily report it, and then you can't get down to the bottom of it. So having those easy to use, quick to use processes, obviously you need your formal processes, your formal procedures in place, but having those quick to use and quick to do it, because especially using IT as an example, if you're frustrated by the IT and then you need to use the IT for a while to get through IT systems to report something, you're going to be more frustrated by the end of it. So it makes sense to streamline your systems as much as possible, because otherwise you're just going to be really cross by the end of it, and no one wants to be really cross.